Welcome back into the Triple Option. Paul Catalina, Steven Simcox, locked on TCU, and you can listen to his podcast. Was it 5 days a week?
5 days a week.
5 days a week. So 30 minutes, right?
That's where they want me to keep it. Yeah,
30 minutes.
30 minutes is the target.
Good deal. Okay, so go listen to that every week. Locked on TCU. All right, Steven, I did want to talk about Dabo Swinney.
Okay.
There's a lot of it, like The Athletic wrote an article. Like there's been articles all over the place. I know Carl Auerbach, really great article about him today, and his refusal to embrace the transfer portal. So in 3 years, he has lost 32 players to the transfer portal. And he hasn't lost some of the guys that other schools have lost. Like he hasn't lost to Justin Fields or anything. But he has lost 32 guys. He has taken in 3 guys, all grad transfers, all backups, 2 backup quarterbacks, Hunter Johnson, Paul Tyson, backup quarterbacks, and then 1 guy who's a wide receiver. And he wants to keep building through high school. Well, when Duke absolutely beat you to a stump, and they, with their academic standards, had 8 transfer starters, don't you think he maybe needs to get on board?
Yeah, it feels like Dabo is holding himself to a rule that no one has imposed on him.
Yeah.
He just got like this weird, conviction about it. It's like sometimes my son, when he gets in trouble, he'll like try to add on punishments. I think he's just trying to like make us feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
But we'll be like, all right, you got to go to your room for however long. And he's like, well, I'm not going to eat dinner. And we're like, okay, well, nobody said that. But if you don't want to eat dinner, that's fine. Like we're not going to do that. But Dabo, I mean, he's got this useful tool in front of him. Clemson seems like the place that would really thrive in this environment. And I'm sure a lot of it is, he's definitely a big culture guy. Most college coaches are. But you know what kills culture faster than anything? Losing games.
Yeah.
Like, the teams that lose are the teams we hear about that are falling apart and not committed and not doing what they're supposed to do. And so I don't let this be the hill that you die on.
Yeah.
But it seems philosophical. I mean, we've seen like other coaches kind of come to a crossroads like this. We saw it with Nick Saban before he sort of finally opened up that offense and started recruiting, big name quarterbacks. But that was more of a X's and O's type thing. This seems like a true belief that he has. And I don't know how to get him off of that, but Clemson still has a defense that's good enough to win a lot of games, but at some point you got to start getting some more playmakers there.
Yeah. Dogmas are tricky, right? I mean, like they can work for you for a little while, but eventually you hit a wall.
Right.
And that's why you can't maybe be so rigid on things. Yeah. And look, and he's going to get ridiculed for this for the rest of his life, but when he was asked this summer about the name, image, and likeness, and he's like, we're built in God's name, image, and likeness. How about that? Like, look, I'm a man of faith. Steven, I know you are.
Yeah.
But I will also tell Dabo this. I've been in God's house a bunch of times, and even he passes the plate, buddy. So you might want to embrace it a little bit more than...
Well, and there was a time when, like, Dabo was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, his demeanor and personality, and I remember that after that Notre Dame win when he went on this little rant about you got to bring your own guts, right? And it was like, oh, Dabo's like this fun kind of country guy, and yeah, he's definitely got the faith aspect of it, but he just seemed like the type of dude that would probably invite you to watch the movie Facing the Giants, and that would be about like the extent of it. But now it's much more kind of celebrity pastor, which is always a tricky thing to balance because it can automatically just turn people off. That quote was strange. He's had a lot of those lately where he's just kind of pontificating on the state of the world. And I think somebody needs to be like, save that for, why don't you start a podcast or something that you can just send to a few friends. Let's not go to the podium and always just break these things out. Let's leave that in house.
Even Mike Gundy has embraced it.
Yeah.
And I thought Mike Gundy would be one of the first that's like, look, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But he's embraced it. He's become very practical about it. And Dabo he has this thing, like, sometimes I think coaches believe in, like, we built it the right way. Okay.
They don't give you a bigger championship trophy for that.
No. The only wrong way to do it, honestly, is
to lose.
And there's not rules anymore that you're necessarily breaking.
Right.
Now, look, if you compromise your character and the character of your team and your principles to do it, that's the wrong way. Like when you're like, well, I don't care what these kids do, just go win football games. That's the wrong way. That's been done through sports all over the place. Like, let's look the other way just as long as they're winning,
But then you can just get one of those like propaganda Netflix documentaries where you just
absolutely
where you just go like, oh yeah, it was Urban Meyer talking about his kids working out on a Friday night. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and then they're like, well, what about these things? Yes, they have. Some of them happened. But you know what? Dedication.
Have you talked to Tim? Have you talked to Tebow?
Yeah. Talk to these guys who completely bought into my propaganda. But no, I think Dabo, like he's running that course. And I thought bringing in Garrett Riley was a huge departure for him because in the last time he did that was Brent Venables and he won national titles because of it.
Yeah.
I thought Garrett Riley, and it could still turn out that way, but they couldn't separate from Duke.
No, they don't have
playmakers. And the team that they have to be most scared about, and this might also be a little bit of ego on his part, is Florida State. And that was a school he always, like even in their worst, it's the school he had to be most scared about because if they ever figured it out again,
they could compete.
Look, since Florida State joined the conference, Clemson had been second fiddle until Dabo flipped the script.
Right.
Well, don't think that they're not trying to flip it back on you. There's two teams that have relevance in that conference, and I'm not knocking anybody else. That's the fact. Over the last 30 years, they've won it the most.
Well, and you also wonder if that might be the thing that puts a fire under them because, I guess the flip side of being the ACC, they've had an easy path for the past few years, but they also haven't had somebody pushing them. Like Ohio State now has Michigan that is pushing them.
Taking
over them, honestly. Yeah. Alabama has always had a foil in the SEC. Now it's Georgia who's overtaken them, and they're trying to get back. But at times it was LSU or Auburn or wherever the case may be. And so maybe this is it. Maybe Florida State getting back to where they were is what is the push Dabo needs to say, okay, nobody's watching how I'm doing this. Or they don't care. Like, if I bring in a bunch of transfers, nobody's going to think that we've given up our values. Like, we can still do this at a high level and be fine.
Yeah, and he wants to, like, the culture is a great thing, except you can also find guys who fit that culture if you try.
Yeah.
Like, clearly you're not even trying to do it, so you can't say, well, I worry about this. Well, you're not, like Paul Tyson's not going to help you win one single game.
Right.
Not one. And so now you have to explain to all these people, like, hey, just 4 years ago, you were one of the teams. And now the rules changed, and you're mad about them. Well, you think that it's the wrong way. Like that's something he's got to get over because he's in my opinion a way better coach than that.
You have to adapt. Like you can not like what the situation is, but everybody that's having success is playing with the rules now.
Do what Nick Saban does. You can pontificate about it,
sure, but you're still going to do it.
But you still do it, and basically what Nick Saban says is like, look, guys. I have all the tools possible at my disposal. I'm the head coach at Alabama. He won't say it out loud because he's not that kind of guy, but I'm the greatest college football coach that's ever college football coached. So if you want to give me these advantages, I will use them, but I'm warning you, it's not going to work out how you think it is.
Right.
Because it's just going to work for me. So, that's what he does. I don't like the rule, but you know what? Jermaine Burton wants to come here. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to let my guys leave. Just be able, I didn't play for my first 2 years, and then not have the same, like a better guy be like, I was playing at LSU, but I'd rather play at Alabama, so I'm just going to go there. Those things can happen. And, I don't like that I have to, players are going to ask me for money now, but I've got guys who are willing to give it to them. So if Bryce Young's going to make $1 million from Dr. Pepper, who am I to stand in his way? I'm making 12. So
yeah, don't put restrictions on you that don't exist.
Yeah,
if you're Dabo,
I know that he was playing San Jose State and it's different, but DJU on Saturday
looked good.
Like he didn't have that kind of freedom there at Clemson, and it might be because the tighter you squeeze without
Yeah.
Without changing.
Yeah, there's just too much there. And if you're not going to have Trevor Lawrence, then you got to find a way to make some other guys work.
Well, and look, Cade Klubnik might be Trevor Lawrence again, except for the fact that Trevor Lawrence had T. Higgins.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence had
Travis Etienne.
Yeah, Travis Etienne. So like he had those guys. Mm-hmm. Cade Klubnik has Will Shipley. Will Shipley's great, but you
can't build the whole plane out of Will Shipley.
You can't just be like, all right, well, go ahead. Like, please, get us out of this situation.
Right.
Eventually, they're going to be like, well, we got to stop Shipley.
And then think, what's your counter move?
Yeah, like, okay, we stopped Shipley. What's your second thing? So, Steven, this has been fun.
Thank you,
I'd like
Paul.
to extend you an offer to be a semi-regular Wednesday host.
All right.
When it fits into your schedule.
I'll talk to my agent, Garrett.
Yeah, talk to your agent, Garrett. Talk to your direct supervisor who is here on Mondays. But yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I missed seeing you every day anyway. I think, we had some, this is not this for the podcast. We had some times.
Steven. We did.
We had some times.
Yeah.
We had some times. So, and again, listen to Steven's podcast and support him that way.
Please do.
Support him by watching this over and over and over again. If you're a Steven Simcox fan, just watch this on a loop.
Just refresh it every 5 seconds.
Just every time the thing ends, start it again. Like Steven's kids and their favorite Disney movie, I'm sure.
Or Bluey, yeah.
Oh, Bluey?
Bluey, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't have kids, but I've heard of Bluey.
Good stuff.
It's good.
It's okay.
Do you wonder what's going to happen, like episodes of Succession on Bluey next?
No, it's not quite that. Variety's not writing recaps after every episode.
What happened on Bluey? No. Here's the Bluey episodes you need to see before next season.
Yeah.
Those kind of things.
There's not many M. Night Shyamalan twists.
No, there's not. Okay, good deal. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Jack McKenzie, Garrett Ross. We're back again tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.